I'm Milt McGiffin from University of California in Riverside, and I'm honored to get to interview some of the great hort legends. And one of them here is Robert, uh, who's going to tell you all about his career and life. So, Robert, tell him your full name, tell him what your horse specialization is, and the primary positions you've held.
My name is Robert Paull. I've been at the University of Hawaii for 44 years.
Wow.
My specialization is post-harvest physiology. And the most interesting part about this is that we do both field work and post-harvest laboratory work. So this is part of what I like about the job. The other thing about it is that the crops here are very different from those on the mainland, and it offers some great differences in the way in which what you have to study. And there's really, in many cases, not as much background information. So you're a big fish in a little ocean instead of a small fish in a big ocean.
What's horticulture meant to your life and your career?
I well, I actually started out in wool classing. You probably don't know what that is, but
Oh,
that was grading wool in shearing sheds.
wow.
But I haven't finished my apprenticeship. So my father decided I should go to university. And so I went into agriculture at the university and finished at the University of Sydney. And then went and worked on cotton research, mainly nutritional research in New South Wales. And then went to University of California, Berkeley. At the time, it was called Berkeley, but
Yeah, still do. Yeah.
Ronald Reagan was governor, and he signed my degree. I'm sure he doesn't remember, but he did that. And then I went back to Australia before I came to Hawaii. So I've been here for quite a while.
Wow. And what do you consider the most rewarding part of your career?
Again, the most rewarding part is working with students and working with farmers. I enjoy doing that part of it. I don't like administration, but I have been involved at sometimes with administration.
How long have you been a member of ASHS and how's that influenced your career?
That's a good question that I didn't look up before I came here. My guess is at least 40 years.
Wow. Well, so if you think back a little and maybe think ahead, what advice can you offer to students or young professionals in horticulture?
I think if you're going into horticulture and you're as an undergraduate or even as a graduate student, the most important thing to do, I believe, is to get as much experience on as many different crops and many different methodologies that you can. The other thing, which is probably good nowadays, would be some business courses, which in agriculture is now going to become much more important than it was in the past. And even if you don't go into agricultural related positions or you go into academia, courses in business, such as in marketing and in accounting and management, can serve you very, very well as you move forward, particularly in commercial enterprises.
As an aside, explain to them briefly why it's so important to get experience in a lot of different crops.
Because you don't know where you're going to go.
Yeah,
You don't know what crops you'll be asked to work on or you'll be asked to provide advice on. So you really need to get as much experience as possible early on so that you have greater flexibility in what you choose for your career and wherever you, in fact, move into working future.
Okay, and finally, what excites you most about the future of the horticulture industry and the profession?
The diversity, the nice people that I've met, the great professionalism that I've struck in the thing. And again, I like teaching and I like doing research.
Well, what do you see as the future, though?
The future is going to be the same. We're going to be changing. I mean, with global climate change is going to change a lot of things that we do, but it also creates new avenues and new goals and challenges for us to actually work on. And so I believe they're going to be the areas that we're going to look at much more seriously in the future. Well, a lot of work is being done now. The other thing that's surprising that I've noticed is that many times people now don't look back beyond 1990 And there is in the literature surprising amounts of observations of stress-related responses, which we're essentially reinventing from what observations were made many years ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's another area that I get a little bit annoyed with students about. Not very different. I tell my students one thing: you can make the mistake once, but if you do it twice, I might ask you to leave. So don't do the same thing once. Anyway, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. You're truly a legend. I'm glad you came. See you later.
Take care.